Awesome. We are live and we are in motion. Happy Wellness Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to another Wednesday together. We have nine more episodes until the end of the year, 9 more weeks to make a difference in our life. So now is your opportunity to say, do I feel the urgency? Now, before we go any further, let's talk about today's topic. We're kind of going back a little bit. And so if you've been here on the journey this whole time, I still think we're good. What we do in our circle of learning is we always come back, but we go deeper. It's kind of like a spiral like a corkscrew or a screw that every time we make a lap around and we come full circle on a topic, we go a little bit deeper. So for the next 3 episodes, the next 3 weeks, we are going to dive into the 3 doshas specifically in Ayurveda: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And so because my mission, my goal, my life is all about breaking through the effects of stress so that you can thrive, we're going to talk about how you can balance Vata dosha and reduce your stress. And then next week, we're going to talk about Pitta. And the following week, we'll talk about Kapha. Vata, why Vata? Why now? Well, there are a lot of reasons. Firstly, it is Vata season. We have officially entered fall. So when the leaves turn and fall, then we know that we are entering into the season of Vata. It's a really mobile time. It's a really stressful time and anxious time for a lot of us. And we can say, oh, well, it's the holidays. The holidays are coming, and that's overwhelming me. But truthfully, there's more to it than that. It's what's happening in the environment that is affecting you. So today we are going to talk all about the effect of Vata on you and what's happening and how you could bring it back to balance. So I haven't introduced myself officially, so let me do it briefly. My name is Lauren Baptiste, and I am an executive wellness coach. I'm also an Ayurvedic health counselor, and I work within organizations, and I help build programs so that they can reduce stress too. I have over 10 years of experience working in corporate and finance. And so for me, I'm really passionate about bringing simple, tangible tools that you can use to break through your own stress. And so how do I do this? I do this using this science of Ayurveda, this 3,500 at least old science that helps us understand what was, what is, and what will be, because the science it's a continuum. It's continuously evolving, but it's in the same parameter of what is truth. So before we go down that rabbit hole completely, let's talk about Vata. Vata is so important. Vata truly, so let's take it back a notch. There are 5 elements, and we've learned this if we've listened to the What is Ayurveda, so we can link back into the show notes. But Ayurveda is comprised of 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. And in these 5 elements, we start to experience imbalance. And so because I forgot, I am actually going to record this right now. All right. So in those 5 elements, we experience Vata, which makes up 2 of them, Pitta, which makes up 2, and Kapha, which makes up 2 as well. So when we talk about Vata, we are specifically talking about the effects of space and air on our well-being. And why that matters, right? What is space? What is air? And so just for my friends who it's hard to distinguish the two, I like to think about space as a Tupperware, and what you put in that Tupperware makes up the other 4 elements. So I can close the Tupperware and not put anything in it, but then air is actually in that Tupperware. Or I could put fire or water or earth. And by earth, sand, dirt, whatever you want to put in there. But it's to understand space is the container between my face and my camera lens. It's the space that holds, and what's in that space. Often it's air, but there can be so many other things that the space is held by. And so when we talk about Vata specifically, we're talking about the elements of space and air because they have a really significant effect on us. Have you ever thought about I just need some space? Have you ever used that term, I need space, or give me some space? Or even this feeling of too much space. If you're walking in the woods by yourself, it can almost feel too big. You almost want to be in a smaller, more contained area. That's why we love things that usually touch and hearing are really beneficial, because touch feels nurturing, and it helps us with that air and space elemental complex. So how does Vata get imbalanced? Well, we all in our bodies have the 5 elements to some degree. If I was 100% space, you wouldn't see me here. And if I was 100% earth, I would be the dirt on the side of the house. And over time, when my soul leaves my body, that will be the case. But for now, I am here, all 5 elements living and breathing and comprised together. Now, when I experience more Vata, so in this season right now, as we're shifting into the fall, early winter season, what can happen is the qualities of the outside change. So it becomes colder, the wind, it's windier, it's more mobile, it's rough, right? I don't know if you've ever walked outside on a cold, crispy night and you feel just like your shoulders creep up. It's just rough. Your skin can dry. It's a drying time. And there are other qualities that make up this time. And so what happens is, because I'm only a drop in the bucket of this universe or in this weather, what can happen is I start to take on some of those qualities. So that can happen based on the season, which I'm talking about right now. It can happen based on the time of my life. So notice, as I get older, my skin gets drier, gets more brittle, more rough. My bones can break more easily because there's more air and they're weaker. So that can play into it too. So there are a lot of reasons how Vata can sneak into my life. But when I'm talking to you today in this moment, it can also be because of our stress. When Vata is coming into place, a lot of times when I talk to clients, it's because of their stress. So what will happen is that I'm stressed, maybe eustress, like positive stress, feeling a new job, feeling something coming through. But then what can happen is that my stress can start to get worse. I have a project and a deadline that's overwhelming. I have incessant Zoom calls back to back. And then all of a sudden, right, if you see your stress start to compound, it can create feelings or things in the body: anxiousness, anxiety, dry skin, overwhelm, twitching in the eye, palpitations of the heart. All of these little things that we see on their own are actually effects of too much air and too much space, Vata. So here we are. Now we're starting to get it. Okay, now that I'm understanding that Vata affects my stress and my well-being, what can I do to combat that? Well, first, it's understanding, again, what's happening to my body. So if I'm experiencing those same qualities, then and they are Vata qualities, then I start to think about what I can do to balance that is actually the opposite of what I'm experiencing. So if my skin is really dry, I want to moisturize that with nice oil. Maybe I do a daily massage every day. If I'm experiencing anxiousness in my mind, maybe I start to sleep with a weighted blanket and it helps calm my nerves. If I notice that my hair breaks a lot, again, we can add unctuousness to it, oily. We can maybe wash it less. We can do things that start to calm the body and the mind based on the symptoms that we're experiencing. Even some really slow breathing can help with the fast mobile nature of Vata. So you can see, as we're thinking about it, there's all these little symptoms, but then it's affecting my overall well-being as a whole. And here we are. So now we're thinking, okay, well, what else can help me? So we talked about a massage. We talked about maybe even slowing our breath or changing our breath, having intentional breathing. We can slow down the pace of our life, see if we can cut our meetings off at a certain time of the day, give yourself a really spacious morning to get into a beautiful routine to kick off your day. Even how we eat is so indicative of how we live and what happens in our body. So if I only have 5 minutes to eat standing up and on the go, then it exacerbates this feeling of go, 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 go. Instead, can you have a mindful meal? Sit down. Can it have the warm, wet, oily qualities that we look for to balance the dry, brittle, rough, destabilizing time of year? And the coolest part about all of this, if you're like, wait, I've never even thought about my symptoms in this way, is most often right? If we use our kind of common sense, nature provides what we need at this time. So, what's growing this time of year? Squashes, gourds, heavy, carby type of fruits and vegetables that weigh down and help us feel more grounded. When the weather gets cold, we know to wrap ourselves in a warm blanket to stay warm. Often we know the medicine, but we get lost in it because we live in houses that are temperature controlled and we hide. We go from our home to our job and don't even experience nature. Sometimes we don't even see the sunshine. Think about right now, the sun rises around 7 in the morning and it sets around 4:30 or 5 at night. No wonder why we're not experiencing Earth, because it's so dark when we get up, when we go to work, and then when we come home. So here's an opportunity to really start to experience nature through yourself and notice, what am I feeling right now and how can I bring it back balance? And so some other really nice things that you can do is find some quiet before bedtime, right? We talked about hearing and touch as two incredible ways and senses to start to rebalance. So if I'm thinking about my hearing, what would be really beneficial for my ears? Maybe it's peaceful music, mantra music, maybe jazz music, whatever you find peaceful to you. Maybe silence, or the sound of rainfall, or what other sounds? Ocean sounds, nature sounds. We notice, right? If you were on phone calls all day, sometimes the best medicine is just quiet. And that's when we say, give me some space, give me a minute. I just need to just be with myself. And then in terms of touch, making sure you have really comfy clothes. So right now I'm wearing a nice cozy sweater because it's crisp outside and I want to stay warm. I make sure that my bedding is nice and warm and that I can stay warm and manage like the warm blanket. I actually like that weighted blanket feel. So I have extra comforters that lay right on top of me at night, which I love. Touch also, I like to give myself a foot massage right before bed, nice and slow, just a way to give myself a little bit of oil and touch, right? Beautiful affection to just my feet before I go to bed. So these are options and things that are accessible to you. They don't have to be these huge spa days or vacation, right? Sometimes we think about the idea of de-stressing being chocolate cake and a bubble bath. But the truth is, we need to live a life every single day that de-stresses us on its own. We can't wait for the weekend. We can't wait for that vacation. So this is my invitation to you. What 1 to 2 things did you hear today that might help you reduce some of your stress in this time? Even if you're saying, okay, I don't feel dry skin, but maybe I feel it more in my mind. I feel a little bit anxious with the holidays coming up. See if you can practice some of these simple techniques. Going for a slow, mindful walk, right? Not like one of those quick walks, but just slow and mindful. Watching a fire, creating a fire pit if you have in a yard near you or at your neighbor's house, and maybe going to experience that and feel the warmth on your skin. It's these little things that give us the power, that give us the control, that bring back the energy that we need to thrive. So this is Vata, right? So it's this unstable, rough, dry, crispy leaf that's flying in the middle of a cold night. That is Vata. So the opposite of that is your medicine. So I want you to, next time you go outside, to grab the mail or take your dog for a walk or run out to do groceries, right? Check in with nature for a moment. Stand outside and feel the breeze on your skin. Listen to the sounds that you hear and ask yourself, how can I come back to balance? All right, everybody, that is our Wellness Wednesday for this week, learning how we can balance Vata to manage our stress. And so if today you're feeling like those symptoms are not what I experience when I'm stressed, stick around for the next 2 weeks. We are going to go and talk about the competitiveness of Pitta and the destabilizing, stuck heaviness of Kapha. So stick around, because whether you're experiencing it in your own life, whether your loved ones are experiencing it, it's so important that you have the tools and the techniques so that you can thrive. Feel free to reach out to me. My email is lauren@acheloawellness.com. I would love to be connected with you. And for the whole month of November, I have a special going on for an extra $30 off any Ayurvedic health consults between now and the end of the month. So that's a special going on for you right now. So even if you're listening to this on the replay, it's something you could take advantage of. Go to our website and you can get all of the information of what you will receive in a consult. And now in that shift to Vata season, it's the perfect time to really take the reins of our own health and well-being. So I hope that's an invitation that feels really abundant for you. I hope to support you in any way I can. Feel free to reach out to me, email me, catch me on Instagram, Facebook, acheloawellness.com, or wherever else you see this. It is always an honor and a pleasure to share my Wednesdays with you. And now with 8 more episodes left until the end of the year, till we end our Wellness Wednesday series, what I want to invite for you is to feel the urgency. Just because 2020 has been a hard year doesn't mean it has to be a hard year for the next 9 weeks. This is your opportunity to redefine this moment and change your life. All right, everybody. I hope you're feeling motivated, inspired, a little more grounded, warm, and stable after our talk today. I will see you next week, and we'll continue our De-Stress Through the Doshas series. Until then, have a beautiful rest of your week. Take care.